What is good, everybody, and welcome to Between Frets, a space where female musicians meet and discuss all things. I am Shorn, Shorny Shorn, Marshall, and yes, we're quarantined in our own homes due to this humongous pandemic in history, the coronavirus. I'm gonna say this. I didn't really get a chance to say this at the Fret Tea Talk from this last episode. If you didn't get a chance to listen to our last episode when we talked about musician versus coronavirus, make sure you check that out. But I'm going to be very, very blunt because I really didn't get a chance to say this at a Fret Tea Talk because I was trying to keep quiet and put a cork in it. But here's what I really want to say this, since I'm going to be holding the ground hosting this episode. People, there's no need to be going completely cuckoo and insane and wiped out every single food off the groceries. Okay, I went to do a grocery pickup for Walmart yesterday, and I had like about little bit things, like about $43 worth of stuff, and they came out with just 2 bottles of grape juice, which mostly I just need juice for my kids, but all the other stuff was sold out. Can have no daggone cheese, no bread, not even corned beef. And I ain't been craving for corned beef for so daggone long. All that just waiting for almost an hour to get my order, and all I have is just grape juice, like, really. But and it's affecting musicians and people that had to be sent home, closing down, and jobs, really. And so please, everyone, please support your local artists, musicians. If they have music out, please stream their music, download their music, download merch. Any little bit helps, because musicians it's the bread and butter to perform, and due to all this, it's canceling, and it's not really like fair for those that is using that to support their household. Speaking of merch, make sure you go to our merch store, support the Fretsisters as well. We have a bunch of bags, we got blankets, socks, we have everything here on our store. Is fretsisters.storenv.com. And also, if you want to support one of my merch, I am an artist as well, I do have a merch store. It's shornmerchstore.storenv.com, and make sure you check out, I do have some merch dealing for my album Reinvention. Make sure you check that out as well. I also got like 2 other shirts that I created, and just every little bit helps for every musician that is trying to do, let's just say, trying to make a living, especially during this time and all these shows are canceling and everything. But this is going to be a very special episode. This is going to be a little bit different. We are going to have a Fret Tea Talk, I'm going to tell you that. But this is going to be a lot different because we actually going to bring somebody joining in with us, and we're going to be doing some discussions. And today's discussion, we'll be talking about entrepreneurship versus 9 to 5. We're going to be sitting down with vocal coach extraordinaire and entrepreneur Brittany Spivey, and she wrote something on the post on Facebook, and it's a long post, but I'm going to read this to you right now before we come back to start the roundtable, and to help y'all marinate and any questions you would like to ask us or anything like that. And so let this marinate. So here is the post that she posted on Facebook. Let me let y'all in on what bothers me about, in parentheses, some entrepreneurs, and I'm an entrepreneur. I get tired of seeing small business owners putting people down for having a 9 to 5. I have been self-employed full-time going on 5 years now, and let me tell you, it's rewarding, absolutely, but it's work, and it's not always easy. And the reality is, it isn't for everyone, in a bunch of exclamation points. We're talking about full-time entrepreneurship. Now, stay with me. Don't let all these I'm a boss posts make y'all think being self-employed means we lay around on yachts all day drinking wine and eating caviar. That was kind of funny for me. It's a goal, yes, but not the case for most small businesses and startups. That's in parentheses. Most people put up that image for social media, and if you offer a service in the community, throwing shade at everyday hardworking people who are taking care of their families, who essentially keep our bills paid. Probably isn't the smartest thing to do. Having a business doesn't mean you have any place to down people for going to work, in all caps. Can we stop putting people down for being productive, responsible adults? Shoot. They could be going to work and saving for a business, going to work and paying off debt, going to work and fixing their credit for a business, going to work and buying our products and services so we can feed our families. Or maybe their line of work is so rewarding that they actually, love it. I personally believe it's wise to have multiple streams of income for anybody, and that could be a 9-to-5 and a side business. But full-time entrepreneurship isn't everyone's current goal, and we shouldn't throw shade at people for having 9-to-5s. You have people living good off 9-to-5s. If full-time entrepreneurship is a person's goal, let's encourage them to go for it. Share our mess ups and what we have learned, put them on, encourage them to keep their jobs until it makes sense. Yes, keep your job until it makes sense. And sense. Because truth be told, that 9-to-5 income comes in handy while you're waiting for your product or idea to jump off. But folks ain't about to tell y'all that part cause they don't want to be real about it. If you work a 9-to-5 but also have a product or service that I can support or share with my friends, we put that in from below. She still had that post there. If you have anything to support, and she put that there in her Facebook. When we come back, after I refill my cup of coffee, probably might be a glass of wine, because this is going to be some tea. Do we need to talk about all this? When we come back, I will be joining with the rest of the founders of Fretsisters and our special guest for this special roundtable of this Fret Tea Talk, Brittany Spivey. Just keep on listening. Get a glass of wine, some tea, some food, whatever you have in your house since you can't go anywhere, or get some Uber Eats, or Grubhub or DoorDash, and deliver some food, which I'm craving for some cheesesteak right now. I'm dealing with this. Yeah, so when we come back, we're going to talk about this post with Brittany Spivey and anything that other pros and cons that dealing with entrepreneurship and 9-to-5. So stay tuned. And we are back. I'm here with my partner in crime, Genny Jam.
Hey.
And I'm here with a special guest. For the first time, we're joining somebody into our Fret Tea Talk. She is a vocal coach extraordinaire. She's an entrepreneur. And I've been looking through her Facebook. Very, 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 very talented. Her name is Brittany Spivey.
Thank you. So it's actually pronounced Spivey, but I get called Spivey all the time.
I am so sorry.
Look,
Spivey.
Okay. Yes. But I'm so excited. I'm excited to be here with y'all. I really am.
We are happy that you're here.
Yeah, you're actually the first person that's not like playing any instruments joining in with us. So you are our very first guest out of
really
all that.
So I'm your first guest, like ever.
The first guest that is not like playing instruments. You're like a vocal coach. You're mostly singing. So you like the first vocal talented artist in with us.
So this will be good. This will be really good. It'll be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the reason why I have you joining with us, we talking about self-employed entrepreneurship versus 9-to-5. And I would like for you to explain what motivated you to did that post on Facebook.
Oh yeah. So I made a post, a very long post. Just, I just had some questions and frustrations built up around other entrepreneurs that, that I know or that I'm connected to, on social media. So I've been self-employed, strictly with music for 5 years now. And it's so frustrating sometimes because, there's kind of like this narrative that it's just always great and you're always just, swimming in money and, yes, you have the freedom to do a lot of things that other people don't have, but it comes with a lot. So with the post, I just kind of wanted to bring clarity and raise awareness that, there's a lot of work that goes into working for yourself. And there's a lot of people who want to do it. I think it's a great idea. But when you go into it, you have to be fully aware of everything, that you could possibly have to encounter. So that's pretty much what it was about. Just, I just wanted to be real with people. I just wanted to be real, it's hard sometimes. It really is. Although it's rewarding and I would not trade it for anything. I love it. I enjoy it. You do have your difficult days where you just want to go punch the clock in at somebody's job, and, but it's rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you just quickly give a brief of what your whole business is about, like what you do, and even like a quick little bio of what you do as an artist?
Yes, so my company is Spivey Vocal Consulting. And myself and one of my coaches, his name is Jeffrey Robinson, and he is amazing. He started working with me, I think it's been like a year now that I brought him on board. But we do vocal coaching with an emphasis on vocal health. So each one of our clients goes on a strict vocal health routine to care for your voice, to treat your voice, to learn how to make your own vocal treatments, to learn how to shut down colds if you have to speak or sing or, whatever. We also work with churches and groups. We work with pageant girls, anyone who's looking to, brush up on their performance skills, their vocal skills. We also do audition prep. So if, there are people who, don't necessarily need a coach during the week, but maybe they have auditions coming up, we do audition prep. And I also have my herbal ginger teas, which treat the voice, they treat the body naturally. And outside of that, I do backing vocals for different artists. And I literally just got back from Europe maybe last month. I was gone for a while, so I missed Christmas and everything, but still, just to have something to come back to is just like a huge blessing. But yeah, we literally do it all. We also work with, like I said, public speakers. We do creative songwriting classes for songwriters who want to learn how to compose a song that grabs you, who want to learn about publishing, songwriting, copyrights. We do all of that. So my sessions, like how back in the day when you would have your vocal coaches, you would have like, the little old lady like pecking at the piano, and but things are different now. Times have changed, and thankfully we get to work with artists. We get to work with performing artists. We get to work with people who just started singing yesterday. We get to work with people who are established. But it's a lot of fun. I really do love what I do. I really love it. I really do.
I was saying, it just seems like lately everybody's calling themselves an entrepreneur. And it's like, what is that definition now? Because before there was a definition, or an entrepreneur had a definition, but now it's like everybody is saying that. Like,
yeah, because it's a trend right now.
Yeah.
It's a trend, but people don't really want to see the work that goes behind it. And also just, like when you think of insurance and, insurance for your family, there's so much that goes into it, and I do wish that people would look deeper into it and not just see it as like, it's just something, it's a trend for social media without really having the information surrounding it.
So, one of the questions that we ask you is like, why is there a stigma about being an artist and having a 9-to-5 job?
I think that this is just from my experience and just from people I'm connected to. I think there's this kind of like cloud where people feel like if you are a creative and you're an artist or you're a musician and a singer, then you've, quote, made it and you shouldn't have to do anything else. And I think that's what I think people feel like, okay, well, because I'm talented or whatever, this is all that I have to do. You know what I mean? But when you look at, statistics and when you research the wealthy, when you research millionaires, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Like they never stop working. They never stop building. They never stop developing, so we just kind of have to think a little differently about it. But I think there is kind of like this narrative, saying, because you're a creative or because you're a musician and you're an artist, you shouldn't have to work an outside job. But sometimes it is smart to work an outside job as well.
That is so like real what you just said, that they have multiple streams of income and nobody knows that.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knows that. I mean, and that's the same thing as being an artist or a musician. You have to have multiple streams of income. I mean, we're seeing it right now, like what's happening right now in the economy and the market. But that is so true. And that's just something that people have to realize. Yeah, the 9-to-5 job, it's actually okay to have that too, or even like a part-time job that might give you part of those benefits,
Yeah, it's really smart. I believe in, working those jobs until either your schedule doesn't permit for you to do anything, but that or whatever. But even with me, when I came off, because I was a music teacher at, in the public school system. And so when I came off that job, I was actually kind of thrown into entrepreneurship. It wasn't something that I planned to do, but I was thrown into it and I had to think fast. And, my thing was, okay, well, I sing and, I teach music, so I'm going to do vocal coaching and I'm going to push it and I'm going to make it work. But on top of that, even though I have that income, I decided, okay, well, I'm going to start making vocal care products just in case my lessons, don't pick up like I want to. I'll still have income from selling vocal teas, or I'll have income from doing workshops or, from doing whatever. But it is good to just have something else. And I don't think that people should feel bad for, doing what's best for their family, their benefits, their 401k, their future college funds. Like, you have to be strategic, and have more than one way to access where you're trying to go, because as we see now, it's important to have more than one stream of income because everything is shutting down.
Oh, exactly. Like, can you be successful doing both, or like doing both things, like being an entrepreneur or working a 9-to-5 job? One had to take one for president. So it's like, think it's be successful doing, can you be able to be successful doing both or just stick with just one thing?
I think that you can be successful doing both, but I do, because like for me in my business, I put everything into it. So I do believe that there might, come a time when you do have to pull away from your 9-to-5 if, being an entrepreneur is something that you want to do. But you don't pull away from that prematurely. You stack your money, you save, you clear up your credit, you build relationships, you build a fan base, you build customers, so that when you pull away from that, or if you do pull away from it, it's not like a culture was pulling.
Yeah, but how do you know when it's like time to do that? So how do you know when it's in time to when you like focus more on one or just drop it all together? So when it's time to like quit?
I think there's 2 ways. I think we should look at it from 2 different points. I think when you are financially in a place where it makes sense and you have a savings and you have the type of clientele and everything that you need to be sustained, but also without looking at like the all of the kind of logistic type things. But you'll also know when, your spirit and your emotions and your heart are connected to one thing more than the other. But even if you are pulled in one direction, I still believe in finding a way to create multiple streams of income within that new direction. I think it should be kind of like a web, always be growing.
So like if you stick with like one category, like if you stick with music and you're trying to do different ways to put in music involved in it, like selling products, doing lessons, anything like that, it's kind of like the way to bring in more streams of income as long as you stick with that entire niche.
Exactly. Yeah. I think there's kind of like an umbrella that you have to stick to, which makes sense. Not saying that you necessarily have to, but it just kind of makes sense. Like for me, I want my clients, I want to be a one-stop shop for them. Like, I don't want them to have to go to anybody else when it comes down to music and voice. They should be able to get everything that they can possibly get from me and one of my sources, but that's really good what you said, just to be sure that it's kind of like zoned into something that's similar. I personally, although I love I make my vocal teas and my vocal care products, but I wouldn't personally go and sell like pound cakes also. I would try to instead of that, okay, let's make a vocal care product, just so I can target the people that I want to target, and be sure that money keeps coming in.
This is Genny Jam. So the one question I have is the products. When you say that you have developed these products, was this something that you had to find investors for it, or the money that you had saved up kind of put towards that product?
So that's a good question. So although I am a vocal coach, I'm also an herbalist. And so I know a lot about herbs and what treats the body naturally, what treats the voice naturally, how to cure colds, how to all of that, just to keep your voice in shape. So I grew up, I'm from the country. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, but I grew up in a town called Garner, and it's a country town here. And so my grandparents, I grew up watching them make medicine. I grew up watching them make cold medicine, whatever type of situation you had going on, they were in the kitchen and they were brewing medicine. That was something that just kind of came natural to me. I was used to seeing that. And so the older that I got, I have a daughter, I'm a single mom. And so my daughter's 7, and I would get just crazy nausea when I was pregnant with her, to the point where I could not keep anything down. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to, eat and drink, and just my body was just so out of whack. And, I did my research, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try, maybe this type of product. I'm going to try this. And just doing my own research, I came up with a formula that shut down my nausea, but also I noticed like I can take this in place of traditional cold medicine. So I have not taken traditional cold medicine in 7 years. And it's something, when I have a sore throat or whatever, it's something, that I can just take to kind of shut that down. As far as the investing part and getting my product out there, I have not had any investors. It's been just me doing it by myself. Last year, I had my very first celebrity client, which was India Ari.
What?
Yes. And she used my vocal tea for her Worthy tour. So it's crazy how that happened, but it's something that I believe in. And I feel like when you believe in something and you put your all, like there's 24 hours in a day. We have more than enough time to dedicate to what we really want to happen in our lives, and I feel like, just me putting my all into it and just being incredibly blessed and lucky, I've been able to take small steps to get my products, where they need to be. So it's been great. It's been really great.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It's been really cool.
Yeah, I hope you got some of those teas left, because I might need one.
Listen.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing. Are they sold online? Because we'll put the link in our show notes where we can get your products. Well, definitely your website and everything. We'll get all that information.
Yes.
The tea.
I will send you ladies some complimentary tea so you can have that before your next podcast. Yes, but I'll send you the link. You can purchase them online, and just right now, I think with the situation that's kind of going on in the world, I kind of did have a moment of doubt of like, oh crap, like what's gonna happen, but people have been stocking up on my teas as just to have a natural alternative at home, so it's been cool. It's been really good.
I hope they don't go crazy like they did with their toilet paper.
I hope they do.
Oh, Lord.
I know, actually, that'd be good for you.
Right. I'll probably run out of supplies.
So when I first saw your post, it kind of reminded me of the full-time musician kind of looking down on the 9-to-5. But I feel the same way about when I see people say, oh, I'm a full-time musician, musician. But there's more to that. A 9-to-5, you have those benefits of medical, health, vacation, sick leave, and all that. But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have any of that, or it's a little bit harder, or you have to pretty much pay out of pocket for that.
It's hard, and like if you have kids, it's something to consider. There is no shame in going and clocking in somewhere so that your children can have consistency and so that they can have benefits. And you can still, live your dreams and make money doing music. With me, the different kind of like branches that I've fallen into, because outside of vocal coaching, I sing and, I get to gig and travel and tour and stuff like that. But it's like, once that's over, I'm going to come back home to my vocal coaching students. I'm going to come back to my vocal tea. I'm going to come back to the churches that I work for, so it's good to have multiple avenues, but there is no shame in it at all. It is actually very wise, as we can see right now, like in the climate of the world. We can see that it's very wise to have backup. And it's having a backup doesn't mean that you're not, that you're not giving something your all. You're just being strategic.
But is there really a shame in not wanting to be an entrepreneur, but just enjoying being a part-time artist? Is there a shame in that?
I think that's dope. Just kind of like being a part-time or having like a part-time service or something. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So if you like being an artist part-time, but it's like a shame to being an entrepreneur, but just enjoying being like, working at a 9-to-5 job and just being a part-time artist.
In our world, we kind of have like a blueprint of how things should go. Like you should do it this way, or you have to do it this way, or it won't work that way. But there's so many ways to find your own personal success, to find your own personal happiness. And if it's, being a full-time 9-to-5 worker and gigging on the weekends, or if it's being, spending your time majority as a musician who gigs, but you're also teaching lessons, you're also doing, doing like conferences or working at a music store or whatever, you definitely have to do what works for you. Definitely.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. In general, society sometimes sees that you have to stick with the rules. You have to work this much and you have to bring in this much income and whatever. But there are people similar to your journey that can go for it, take that risk, and somehow it works out. And you're still working at it too. It's not that you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. This is it. I don't need to work anymore or anything like that. It is another way to look at it. It's taking that risk.
It is. It's a risk. And, and I think this is something that I mentioned on my post, not everybody wants to be a full-time musician, or not everybody wants to be a full-time entrepreneur. I mean, of course you have people who want to explore it, but for the people who want to do it, I think those of us who have been doing it for some time, I think we have to be like real and honest, have conversations with people, let them know how we failed, let them know what we could have done better, let them know like, I wish I would have saved more, or I wish I would not have purchased this off of credit or whatever, do whatever we can to help people, and then encourage them, now that you have this going, find something else, find something else that you can kind of tag into that as well. Think about the different types of income that are out here. When I think of musicians and singers and performers, most of us want to book the gig. That's important. We want to book the gig, but what about royalties? Like, that's money that you can collect for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, royalties is also a way to get money. Or to build income. There's so many different creative avenues. We have to explore them and kind of go outside of the box that just says that one thing works, because that's not always the case.
How do you think about retirement in a sense or whatever? Because this is how you're going to take your life pretty much with what you're doing right now. You're the vocal coach, you sell products, you tour, music, being an artist. This is pretty much what you're going to be doing. So personally, how do you feel about like the retirement sense? Again, we're getting back into the rules. Retirement, health insurance, the future. I think that's how like some people would think, like, what about the future?
And that's so real. That is a real question, because the future can be, as we all know and can see, like right now, it can be so uncertain. You can plan as much as you can for something, but you really just don't know, and that's where these different avenues come into play. For me, I may be asking for a lot, but I want to retire fairly early. And retirement for me would be for my businesses to continue to be established entities, employing people and making products. I want to get to the place where I'm comfortable financially to where I can step away, but those businesses are still working for me. I still have income coming, from Vocal Tea or from doing vocal coaching, or you know what I mean? Like, so for me, retirement looks a little different, because although my plan is to pull away once I get to a certain age and just kind of enjoy life, that's the plan. We're gonna see. But I do understand, that things happen. But for me, when I do retire, and I want to retire before I'm 50, I still plan for my businesses to grow, to flourish, to spread. And if they do not, I will not retire at that time. I'll be sure that I can push my business to that place where I'm comfortable enough to retire. But, of course, it's different, because it's not like you're paying into retirement, like your regular, your normal, just kind of like hardworking jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different. So you kind of have to finesse it differently. And you have to decide, is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
Yeah, we say that all the time. That's just life.
It's hard, because you just never know what's gonna happen.
I mean, the thing is that it's hard doing a full-time job too. I mean, you're going through those same questions. So if you really think about it, it's not any different. You're still working hard, whatever you're doing in your 9-to-5 job, to like grow and try to get to that next level. The same as being an entrepreneur. So I guess that's just like the moral of the story. It's really the same thing. You just have to keep working.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I believe that, what you said is true. You do have to keep working. I think like work sometimes looks different. It just looks different. Like, I know our parents and grandparents, work for them was different because it's a different time. You know what I'm saying? There's so many just creative things that we can do for work, now. Things that we can do to bring in income and make connections. There's times when I've gone to work and, maybe there wasn't a lot of money in it for me, but the connections were worth it. They were long lasting. So that's so true. It really just depends. We definitely have to work hard and be strategic, make a plan. I was talking to someone who said, if you really want to be successful, you cannot be afraid to ask. Can you help me? Will you try my product? Will you listen to my music? Can I do this? Can I shadow you? You can't be afraid to ask. And on top of that, you cannot be afraid to be told no. Be told no a million times until you get the yes, and then run with the yes and make it into another yes. So.
Oh gosh, I just want to like take that audio snippet of what you just said and play it over and over again. Like that is so
First thing in the morning.
motivating.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
Especially when
it's so motivating
like
what you just said.
Yeah, that'd be like your alarm clock, and just have that on there as your ringtone, and especially you're making that as your alarm clock and wake you up.
Yeah, the day I heard that, I was like, shoot, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to go ask people for stuff that I need. And I was just so intentional. The worst that can happen is they can say no. And even branching out as a musician or as a 9-to-5 employee, sometimes it's hard to branch out. I believe that, everyone who has a 9-to-5 also should have some type of side income. Try something out. The worst thing that can happen is people cannot feel it. Maybe they won't support it right now. Maybe they'll say no, but maybe they'll say yes, and maybe it'll be worth it for you. But it's all just like a risk. But it's a great risk.
No, this is a good one.
Can you just tell our listeners where to find you on social media so we can put in our notes and spread the word out?
Yeah, I enjoyed this. Okay, definitely. So I'm going to give y'all a few options. So my personal Instagram is Brittany D. Spivey. My business Instagram is @Spivey Vocal. And my Facebook is facebook.com/Spivey Vocal. And you can connect with me on either one of those.
Yeah, this was awesome. I mean, definitely appreciate your advice, your insight on entrepreneur versus full-time employee or whatever you want to call it. Like I guess we'll call it 9-to-5 versus self-employed. Really, really good advice, good stuff. I really want to look at your products now.
Yes. I'm actually on
everything,
now because I'm searching for a new vocal coach right now.
Listen, I got you, but public speakers, I coach public speakers, and yes, it's necessary. It is so necessary.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm thinking I'm going to let the vocalist in my band know about you, because I know that certain times when she's falling sick or something, she'll go and get a cortisone shot.
Oh yeah.
So just so she can sing. I know Shorn's probably like loving this because she sings as well.
Oh,
so
yeah. I know. I've seen your group. I've seen y'all like performing. I love watching those videos. I love them.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
But, a vocal coach is important. Most people think it's just for singers, but anyone who has to use their voice on a regular basis, and anyone that kind of wants just a natural way to keep your voice and your song, tip-top shape, it's definitely worth it to connect with a vocal coach.
Yeah, I definitely need that because I'm wear and tear in my voice right now. I'm just recovering from a cold, and I lost my vocal coach a year ago, so I need to get right back in shape on that.
Yeah. We got you. I got it. Don't even worry. I will get you into shape.
Yeah, I need it. There you have it, ladies and gents. I would like to thank Genny Jam for joining with me. I'm also like to thank our special guest, Brittany Spivey. Yes. For joining in with us, giving us great advice on entrepreneurship and her services. So if you like to look through more information about her business on Spivey Vocal Consultant, make sure you follow her, and she will definitely can hook you up. And so till next time, I am Shorny Shorn Marshall. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Riff Girl, what you got? If you want to learn more about this lick, hit us up on Facebook or Instagram at Fretsisters or email us at fretsistersmusic@gmail.com. Peace and love.